I'm Brandon.
I'm Viviana.
I'm Amanda, and for our first segment, we're going to talk about who we are and how we got to America. So I'm half Italian and half Russian. My Russian half of the family all has blonde hair and blue eyes, which is odd because Russians generally have brown hair and brown eyes. At that time, Russia was being invaded by the Nordics. After that, my great-grandparents were born. My last name was originally Vanderovsky, but while immigrating to America, Immigration Services changed our name for us. My grandma says this often happens because it'll be easier for us to blend in. Miller happened to be the most popular last name at the time. So my great-grandpa's full name was originally Jonah Hale Vanderovsky, but was soon changed to Miller to assimilate.
Okay, so I'm half Spanish, a quarter Italian, and a quarter Irish. My mother was born in Puerto Rico, and she moved to Florida when she was around 23 to get her master's degree. And her parents were originally from Spain, and they moved to Puerto Rico after they got married in their mid-20s. Okay, and then on my dad's side, he was born in New York, where my grandparents on his side met, and his father was also born in New York, but his parents were from Ireland, and they moved to New York from Ireland, and their original name was McConnell, hyphen Mullen, but they only kept the Mullen part whenever they moved to America. And then on my grandmother's side, she was born in Sicily, and her family moved her to New York when she was around 2. So.
Alright, so my family is, I'm Scottish, I'm Irish, I'm part German, and I'm Armenian. My dad's side is mainly from Germany. His great-grandparents moved over to America. And then my mom's side, her dad is Scottish and Irish, which is where her last name came from, which was McPhail, her maiden name. And then her mom's side is from Armenia, and my great-grandma actually came over during the Armenian genocide. She was purchased to be married and shipped over to America.
Okay. For our second video, we wanted to talk about some of our shared similarities. In class, we discussed how culture is viewed sort of like an iceberg. At the tip of the iceberg are all the similarities that are apparent to see. However, below the waterline, there are many characteristics that you have to dig a little deeper to uncover. So, to start, we're all FSU Seminoles.
I'm a media communications major.
And so am I. I'm also a business minor.
I'm also a business minor. I'm also in Greek life.
I'm also in Greek life.
And then I was born in Florida and lived in Florida pretty much my whole life.
And I was also born and raised in Florida. Now these are just a few things that we have in common. Alright, so based off of that, now we're going to dig a little bit deeper into some more of the below the water parts of the iceberg. So here's a few things that are important to me. Most importantly is my family. I think family is something that's special to everybody, and it's important to stay close with your family and always be there for them, as well as your friends. I think it's important to be friendly with everybody. And that's some of my morals. Something that's really important to me is giving back, which is why I'm an environmental science major. I want to work with the environment and do some good in terms of maintaining it.
So something that's personally important to me is helping people that can't help themselves. And since I'm a double major in criminology and media communications, I really just want to help to improve the criminal justice system. So after I graduate, I want to go to grad school and become a researcher just to help improve the quality of prisons and the way that the processes that the criminal justice system goes through.
Something I strongly believe in is helping those who are unable to help themselves. So my internship this semester is with a nonprofit called Design Resources for Homelessness, and we raise money to do case studies for each homeless shelter and figure out what ways we can help better impact their recovery or help them just live better. And we take that money and we donate it to architectures, and from there they're able to build better and more thoughtful designs for the homeless.
So in this episode, we're going to discuss a few stereotypes between us Southerners against her,
The New Yorker.
the girl from up north. So we're going to start by listing a few stereotypes that are common that we've heard growing up, and then we'll have Amanda refute them to see if they're true or not, and then the roles will be reversed. All right, Viviana, what do you got?
Okay, so like some stereotypes like that I've heard of Northerners are that like you get that like Northerners are like really impatient and like
That's so mean. I'm not that impatient.
that they're like always late, super aggressive.
Is it true that everyone up north is in the mob?
No.
No.
I'm trying to think of like
You guys are always in a rush, and you're always in a bad mood.
yeah.
I'm always in a great mood. What do you mean?
Very true.
I don't know. Can you think of any stereotypes of like Southerners usually have Northerners?
Southerners, it's calm. Oh, I'll stop this over. Okay. You guys are very sensitive, very slow, racist.
Okay.
You
I'm
cover
Northerners.
all your food in gravy.
We do. We love our gravy.
Yeah, we do love gravy.
So you're just conforming to the
guys.
stereotypes then.
I believe that
Who doesn't
some
love
people are
gravy?
sensitive, but in this day and age, everyone's pretty sensitive. I myself am not sensitive. I don't really care what other people have to say and or think. But a lot of people are sensitive.
And I think that there's like certain there's gonna be racism like any part of the US, but that's like definitely not everyone is racist. Like even though some people may be like racist to like some degree.
I don't think all New Yorkers are in a rush. I feel like everyone's in a rush when they need to be.
Yeah.
Very true. People don't know how to drive in Florida either.
Okay, so for this video, we wanted to talk about some stereotypes of men versus women and what stereotypes we've all been exposed to like throughout our lives.
Go ahead, ladies. Ladies first, right?
One stereotype that I often hear is that women aren't supposed to make as much money as men.
A stereotype that I've seen a lot is that women are supposed to be the homemakers and they're supposed to cook, take care of the children. Like they're usually more attached to the children than the men are.
I think that everyone should make the same amount of money. So a few stereotypes that men are faced with is that we're supposed to be the breadwinners for the family. We are supposed to be the strong, dominant man of the house. We're not supposed to show emotions or cry. Yeah.
So after talking for a little bit, we came up with a couple solutions that we can use to help overcome stereotypes. What I came up with is be an individual so people view you first and not your gender.
I think that like we should try to celebrate our differences instead of demonizing them and downplaying them when they can really be used to your advantage.
So my tactic to not seeing stereotypes is to always look for the exception within them. We know that everyone's different and that stereotypes are not always true. So we should always just give everyone a chance and let them be who they want to be.
Hey! This is us breaking the stereotypes. Yeah!